What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. Today's episode 20 whole weeks of doing the Yamcast. Spite, can you believe it?
No, I still remember when we were doing it on those little butt pads in the coffee table.
How far we've come. How far we've come. Today we've got a great show for you. We're going to be looking at a bunch of really interesting news from several different manufacturers. For some reason, this last week, a lot of stuff has happened. Got a lot to talk about there. Doing some call-in section from our Discord boys, and then wrapping it up with a very interesting contest that was a little bit different for this week. Stick around. It's going to be a good one.
That intro went a little better than last week's.
Well, I don't feel like a reanimated corpse today, so. Yep. Alrighty, Spite, what do we got first up on the docket for news?
Our first piece of news today actually comes from Suzuki, which starts with this parallel twin that has been revealed in a patent. Now, Suzuki doesn't have a lot of parallel twins. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head is the GSX-R 250.
Yeah.
That's
our favorite bike.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Best beginner bike ever. When the
MT-03 is too scary. Take the GSX 250. God.
That thing's an atrocious motorcycle.
Yeah, anyways.
But this design is very interesting because it started out as a 588cc turbocharged engine.
Hello, 80s Honda.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of cool that there was going to be a factory turbo motorcycle engine again.
It's been a long time since someone's done that, if you don't count the H2, which is a supercharger, but it's been a long time since we've seen a turbo on a bike.
Yeah, I mean, look at that whole thing there. That's an interesting setup. But they have released a new patent with the turbo lopped off,
that
unfortunately.
Makes more sense. What's the displacement on that?
It is going to be, it's the XE7 engine. Let's see if I can pull the displacement here through a quick scan. I believe it's still here we go, 700 cc's thereabouts. So it's punching in the middleweight class.
Gotcha.
Which is really weird to me because they already have the SV650.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where this would slot in or what they're thinking of doing with it, right?
Because the SV650 is a really good engine.
Really great bike, good engine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't need to reinvent that wheel.
No, just put it in more stuff. Like,
yeah,
if they made a kind of middleweighty sporty cruiser, that would be really cool. Something that is better than the Vulcan S, because the Vulcan S is really kind of boring.
A Rebel 500 competitor, perhaps.
Yeah. Actually, the Rebel 500 is a very interesting little bike, and
they sell a lot of them too, which is kind of nuts. I've seen so many people on our Discord actually just being like, "Oh, Rebel 500 is my first bike," and this and that. Like, I've seen it a lot, you know.
And they're good bikes too. I mean, Honda definitely makes them to a budget, but you know they do give you a good bike. It's the 500R engine that's in there. It's got really kind of sporty seating position and high foot pegs, so you can actually chuck it into a corner. Yeah. And it's really easy to get in and take it apart and put stuff onto it. They really put some thought into an aftermarket crowd for that bike.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting to see a kind of sporty cruiser, but I don't get why they just went with a parallel twin 650, 700 class engine.
Because the big thing in the 650 class for the SV650 was that it's the only twin from Japan, right?
V-twin.
V-twin, yeah, the only V-twin is what I meant to say. To get a sort of entry-level V-twin, you got to go over to Ducati.
Yes.
They're the only other guys really doing that. So that was kind of Suzuki's advantage, in my opinion. This SV650 makes a great sound. We've got ours with the exhaust. It sounds sweet.
It sounds great. And you think about it, KTM, parallel twins. Yamaha, parallel twins. Kawasaki, parallel twins. Now Suzuki, another parallel twin. And I don't see anything in here about the timing of it. It's probably going to be hard to tell from these drawings. Yeah. But chances are it's going to be a 180 degree. It's going to sound like crap.
Yeah.
That really does kind of blow.
The one thing that I can think of, which is why maybe they're going to a parallel twin or maybe shaking things up, is the P-twin is a pretty compact engine design, right? Like, it's super small and you can do a lot with it. So that might be an idea there. And hell, maybe Suzuki's building this out to enter the middleweight ADV market. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what they're up to?
But don't they have the V-Strom 650 still? That's based on the SV650?
They do. So I don't know. This is weird to me. Yeah. So what's the idea here, you know?
If they brought back the turbo, then it would be really fun.
It would be really weird.
I mean, at least then it's different. Again, we have
super different.
So many 650 parallel twins.
Yeah.
We don't need another.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
So I really want to see what they do with it, but the fact that it originally had a turbo, that kind of got my juices flowing.
That's pretty sweet.
But
we all know Suzuki boys love turbos.
Yep.
I think one of the original concepts for the Hayabusa featured a turbo, if I'm not mistaken. There was a concept Busa, I think second gen, that had a turbo on it from the factory.
Really?
Yeah. I'm almost positive this was the case.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would like to have lived in that timeline.
I feel like if that had happened, we wouldn't be where we are today in 2020's timeline.
Yeah,
everything would have been fixed, you know?
that's the turning point.
That was the node, yeah. When Suzuki didn't build a factory turbo Busa, that was the node. Yeah, but speaking of the 650 class, we got another bit of news that I'm very pumped on. Triumph is bringing back the Trident nomenclature.
Yup, and this is kind of interesting because it is another 650 based on the triple power plant.
I don't know why. So I have so many things to say about this, but I don't know why they released the prototype in like this all white.
Because it's made out of plastic.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it's just CAD drawings and come to life in plastic or 3D molding or something.
Yeah, this is they've got the rubber on there, they've got the engine in there, but everything else is just plastic.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, this is kind of a wild looking concept, but of course.
Can I say the silhouette is almost like a 919 and a street triple had a baby?
Yeah, now that you say it, I see it. I do see it.
In the front end, too, with the single round headlight, which is something that everybody who doesn't like the street triple always talks about. They're like, the front end is ugly, this and that. It's like, behold, the triple cylinder naked with the headlight that you like, you know, if that means so much to you.
But this is supposed to be competing in the 650 class, whereas the street triple plays with the middleweights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do we not need another neo-retro naked bike 650?
Triumph thinks that they can sell it.
Yeah.
And so this is, from what I've kind of done a little bit of background research on the Trident, it is a 675cc derived engine, but not the same from, way back in 2006 or even the 2013 Daytona. It is some derivation of that engine. So what I assume they'll do is kind of like what Honda did with their 650cc four-cylinder. They'll probably make a torque first, not too rev happy, not too peaky 675 that's great for street duty. And then from what I'm looking at the frame, that does look different. I can't spot anything on the frame that would suggest to me that it's derived from the street triple or anything. However, the swing arm looks very much like a street triple or a Daytona swing arm to me.
Yeah, that is very familiar.
Looks super derived from that, which, again, not a bad thing. If Triumph's going to come out with a bike that's derived on a Daytona, they're going to mop up shop on MT-07s and 650s ever because those bikes handle amazingly well. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on. They're saying early 2021 they're going to come out and, That
looks really nice.
Yeah, that does look good.
And one of these pictures is of the dash. That's an interesting looking little dash right there.
Yeah. Now, the big thing that Triumph has to get right here is price because the 650 class, because it's so competitive, none of those bikes cost more than about $9,000. The CB650 is the only one that's like $92,000, and everyone's like, oh man, that's the expensive one, MT-07, $72,999. Z650, well, we just did that video. How much was that?
It's basically the same price. I think it's $200 more expensive, $74,000.
$74,000.
Like
So can Triumph make one that's like $8,000 maybe? I mean, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm already picking some budget parts though. We've got our square reservoir here, which is going to be paired with a budget master cylinder.
No Brembos on there.
Yeah, I can tell the handlebars are just a bar.
The dash looked relatively simple as well. It looked like maybe it would just be like a simple little round TFT or something like.
I think that's just going to be an LCD.
Just
screen.
LCD, yeah. Even.
You can
non-adjustable suspension probably.
Yeah. But hey, it's right side up, and I do see here, or it's upside down rather.
Yeah.
It's the good setup. I do see some controls for this dash, so that'd be kind of neat.
That would be good. I mean, they've made so many of those so far that they could probably use that technology, kind of like KTM does for the 390, right? It doesn't seem. We've seen that nowadays you can take tech from the big bikes and make it budget friendly.
Yes,
it's not impossible.
Yeah, no, they can definitely get it done. The tail section looks fine.
It's not super striking. It looks very conservative almost.
Mm-hmm. So I think really what you're paying for here.
If you go back, actually this frame is great. Go forward one. You can see here it looks like a very sort of I don't want to say rudimentary, but sort of traditional like tubular style frame. Doesn't look like anything space age, you know.
Yep, that's definitely tube steel right there.
Just a regular tube, right? That doesn't look super weird.
And the engine's definitely a stressed member.
Yeah.
You've got just the exhaust looks super basic. Nothing crazy there. Big catch can underneath.
I think this is definitely one to keep an eye on. This is an interesting. If they can truly deliver on this, Triumph may start cleaning up shop on the entry-level 650 class.
This is what I was talking about when I made my 650 suck video. There is not enough variance in these kind of bikes. You got the SV650, you've got the MT-07 that are doing interesting things, and the rest of them are basically the same. Now we have a triple to look at. This could be really neat.
It could be really, really cool. So we are going to keep our eyes peeled on this one, see what happens with it. But we also have another bit of news. Is that right?
Yeah, we've got another new bike.
Now this one.
This thing is going to be ridiculous. It is a limited edition YZF R1 Patronus replica.
That is very cool. So now if you want to pretend like you are Fabio Quartararo, you can do it too. So as you see right here in this photo, you got Quartararo and Morbidelli's bikes right here. And apparently Yamaha is going to give the old RC213 VS treatment for their R1, which that is very exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that Honda was the only people that did that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
They'd made the production 213V in early 2010s.
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah.
And they were selling for like 150, 180.
Yeah, and I remember at the time there were two kinds of people. One, it was like, why the fuck is this bike so expensive? And then there was the other where it's like, I cannot believe this bike exists. You know what I mean? And they got the chance to ride it, and they were like, it's like a fucking magic carpet. They're like, it is incredible.
Because it had the same. It had
everything.
It had the same exhaust setup.
Bike. Yeah.
It was unbelievable to look at.
Yeah.
Because the little slit on the 213 right under the peak. That was where the headlight was.
Yeah, it was fully prepped. It was like literally a race bike.
It was done. It was so cool to see.
So the question is Yamaha doing that here, right? Or is it just, an R1 with paint and wings?
I really hope it's not an R1 with paint and wings. They really need to come correct with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't need too much. The R1's pretty darn good.
Yeah. So let's check it out here. It says, however, the replica R1 doesn't just receive a facelift, partnering with preferred European touring arm Yamaha Austria racing team, the Yart. Team Blue equipped the track weapon with a new carbon fiber fairing kit, racing foot pegs, so new rear sets, quick action throttle, that's nice, and an ECU. The track components don't stop there, though. Got Öhlins front forks, TTX monoshock, that's nice. The Brembo GP count, that is a pricey component. Holy crap. And the T-drive rotors, okay, nicer rotors there. Probably not carbon because you probably can't make that street legal because the temps are so high to operate those.
Yep.
But it is interesting. I actually really like the Patronus livery over the Monster Energy livery. I think the Patronus one with the blue looks so cool.
It's a little bit more subdued.
Yeah. Satellite team's just killing it this year. So scroll down, let's see a couple photos of it. So that's fully prepped, man. That's crazy. So no headlights, as far as I can tell. It is kind of funny seeing it's like the GP bike, but the brakes are,
street brakes.
There's basically street brakes. Yeah, that is so cool.
I gotta believe they're gonna sell a version of this with lights.
If they're wise, they should.
Somebody will just ride this on the street because they're an absolute animal.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be sold with slicks on it. I see slicks on that bike already.
Yeah, and let's pull up the pictures here.
God, that's so cool.
Look at that. You could definitely see where they could put lights in if they wanted.
Man, I'm gonna guess the price on this bad boy is at the very minimum 60 to 70 grand.
I was gonna say it probably starts at like 80.
Yeah, I mean I could see that.
This thing is going to be ridiculous.
The question is it going to pump out power even close to the GP bike? Did they do anything to the engine is the question.
That,
let's see here.
Excited about the project, recognition Patronus.
It will start at 54,000 USD.
Probably not doing anything to the engine then.
It says, while that may seem like a lot for bodywork, paint job, Brembo brakes, all-in suspension, and Marchesini wheels, the package also includes a KYT helmet, branded apparel, and a VIP guest pass to a future MotoGP race of your choosing. How nice.
You can't even ride the bike to the event.
No. Will the YZF R1 Patronus edition make you ride like El Diablo or Frankie? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. So that is a bit of a bummer. I thought it would have a little bit more of this, because like the RC213 VS was truly special. Like
it was its own thing.
Hand built. Every component on there looked like it was forged in some like sacred temple or something. This looks, like I said, a bit like bodywork and paint, but it's still really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to see one. Just because.
Yeah, this looks like a really high spec AMA Superbike bike. It looks like a fully prepped race bike, basically. So if you are thinking about racing a 1000, here you go. Just buy this one.
$54,000.
Yeah, which honestly is not too far off from what you would spend to buy a brand new 1000 and then fully prep it.
You think?
You'll get up there easy.
I would have imagined it'd probably be like 10 G's on top of it.
No, it's a lot more.
Really?
Unfortunately, yeah, thousands are crazy expensive to fully prep. So if someone's a complete lunatic, they'll just buy this and start racing it. That'd be fucking... Honestly, the balls you'd have to buy this and show up at like your local club race and be like, yes, I have a Patronus livery Yamaha and I'm racing it in the fucking novice class.
Could you just imagine seeing this tumbling down
the... yard sale on this? Oof. Oof, that would suck. That would be brutal. So lots of cool bikes came out this week. That was a pretty high-paced news week, I'd say.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of cool stuff coming at us.
Yeah.
Definitely some stuff for the future with that Suzuki engine and the Trident, but very interesting to watch and see.
Well, I think that between the Trident, the RS660, some of these other bikes coming out, I mean, shit, there's lots of opportunities for new giveaway bikes we're going to do, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would kill to get a Tuono 660. That would be so fun. But I think with that, that'll wrap up our news, and let's head over to the call-in section of our sweet, sweet podcast. Alrighty, everybody, we are now doing the call-in portion of our podcast. Remember, if you want to join up and call us in and hang out with us, we're doing this live right now, too. Go to yammie.co, sign up, and become a member. Get access to all kinds of cool stuff, exclusive content. It really is probably the best way to support us as well, and just is a fun experience. So, Spite, load up that number, and let's do it.
I wonder if MotoFan's going to be the #1 guy to call in.
He does call in every week, so...
Yep. He's usually always the first one. He's like sitting there waiting.
He's just waiting, yeah. Hey there, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. We're here chilling. What can we do for you?
Man, I just had a quick question for the both of y'all. I've been, watching y'all for a little bit, addicted to the content you guys both provide to us, and I appreciate that very much to start off.
Thank you.
My question was, how do you guys feel about the lesser, the smaller, the Chinese bikes? Now, you might have a video on it or something to that effect. I might not have seen it, but I'm super interested because I just recently bought me a 2020 Venom Motorsports Ghost with 0 miles on it, and that is my question.
Interesting.
I actually don't even know what bike that is. Spy, would you do me a favor and pull that up on the internet?
Let's do a Google.
So we can take a look.
Venom.
Yeah, check it out.
Ghost. Venom Motor.
Came up Venom Ghost main lyrics. I don't think that's what we need. Okay, let's see here. That might be some artist or something.
Images. I think it's this. Is it the? That's.
It's a cruiser.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Interesting.
So it's a 250cc little chopper thing.
A little chopper thing. Yeah, I already got me a Busa, so I need to
Wait, do you really?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I posted earlier. If you go into the bike, you'll see Mayor Tingo. I posted a picture of that I bought today, and I also got my Busa on there too.
Hell yes. I love meeting, I guess, a fellow Busa owner, because I own one too.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
I can't escape it, yeah. Busa boys unite, man. One of a kind. So here's my thing on Chinese bikes. They're getting better, I think. Honestly, they've made big leaps and bounds of improvements, and honestly, a lot of them are pretty reliable. I think they still suffer a little bit from a bad rap of, oh, they're crap, or oh, they're not good, or they're unreliable. But I mean, some of these Chinese companies build these 250s or 125s for literally millions and millions of people. So the QC is there, and the prices are pretty good for them too. What'd you pay for your Venom Ghost?
Less than $2,000.
You can't beat that. That's pretty nuts, right? You can't even get a Grom for less than $2,000. So
I looked into a Grom actually, and I was like, I can't do the littler size. So I was like, let me find something else. I came across this. I actually came across a couple of them. They have two. If you look around enough, you'll actually find a 250. Motorcycles, and they come turboed now from some of these Chinese companies, which is, might be small, but I would love to get me one and just like throw a fat turbo on it. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. I tell you, man, you take the boost away from the boy, but you can't take the boost away from your heart. I know how it feels, man. I know. I try to turbo everything. I know what it's like, man. I know.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that was my question. I'm not gonna hold you guys up. I appreciate you letting me get it across, and I'm gonna let y'all continue on.
All right, man. Hey, thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Later.
Great energy.
Great energy from a fellow Busa boy.
Yeah. I guess it's in the blood.
It's in the blood,
Yep. This is actually really kind of interesting. It looks like a jacked up Sportster.
Yeah,
almost.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, it's like a Sportster with a ton of ground clearance. It's got a center stand, right?
It looks like it. Yeah, a little baby center stand.
What an interesting little bike.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be interested to ride it.
250's not much, but
it's also going to be carbureted. These are still carbureted. Yeah. So that's how they're so cheap.
Yeah. The cool thing about these is they'll ship it right to your door too, which is nuts.
And you put the handlebars on and you're good to go.
You just like put it all together.
And then just toss some fuel in there.
I feel like one day we gotta get. I mean, this is less than what we're gonna spend on the 1250 kit for the Sportster, So I feel like one day we gotta just buy one of these Chinese bikes just to make a ton of videos with, just to have in the shop. That could be the shop bike. We just buy a Chinese bike, just have it.
And just beat the ever-loving crap out of it.
Just fully send it.
Honestly, if you were going to try and scramble a cruiser, just get this. It's going to be light. It's already got the ground clearance.
Yep.
You're not going to really care about beating the shit out of it.
You won't care at all. I'd really like those, there's like these dual sport Chinese bikes. They're like the Li Fans or something. They're pretty cool. That could be the shop bike.
I mean, for $2,000, $2,400, it's hard to say no. I mean, it's more power than a Grom.
Yeah, it's more power than a Grom. It looks like a real motorcycle.
There's actually a CSC San Gabriel in my apartment complex.
That's right. You said that. Yeah, you saw one.
And they look pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get up close to it, you can see where it's just a little kind of budget, but in general, they're fine.
One of those 15-footers. Hey there, you are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good. What can we do for you?
I'm the guy that was talking to Spite a couple weeks ago. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. My friend has a Ninja 500R that he wants to sell me. And I said the carburetor just needs to be rebuilt. He just took it apart to clean it and never got the time to put it back together, and he's just trying to get rid of it. Spite said it's hardly ever just the carburetor. And I was wondering Spite's opinion on what else it may be.
Well, I mean, with a bike that's been sitting for a while, you obviously are going to be looking at fluids and stuff. You definitely are going to need to check the spark plugs on carbureted motorcycles because that's the best indication of running rich or lean. There's a whole heap of little things because it's an old. The Ninja 500 ran from the 80s to like 2007. What year was it?
Right. It's a 2007.
Oh, it's 2007. Okay, so
yeah, it's the last year, I believe.
The thing though is they didn't really change much. So the only difference between a 1989 Ninja 500R and the 2007 is that it may not have been sitting as long. Tires are going to be probably needed to be replaced. The suspension's okay. You might want to check the fork seals. The electrical systems on these bikes, too, they were built to a budget back in the day. They didn't get updated throughout the whole production run of the motorcycle. So if there's been any fiddling with it, you definitely want to take a look at the harness. I'll tell you, dealing with my DRZ has enlightened me a lot into the buying a shit bike, a cheap shit bike kind of thing.
Right.
You really need to go in with a careful eye. Fort9 did a very good video about how to avoid buying a lemon. I'd look at that. There are a bunch of other things you need to consider with a carbureted motorcycle, though, specifically having to deal with the carb. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, all right, I appreciate it. If I do buy it, it'll be my first bike. I've been researching a lot of, stuff on that, but I just wanted to hear you guys' take. I appreciate it, guys.
Especially before you go, because it's your first bike, I'd really recommend something that you don't have to work on. Ride more than you wrench when you get your first bike. It really sucks to have the bike up on blocks. I had my DRZ in the shop for like 8 weeks. That was no fun because I couldn't ride it.
And you didn't even pay rent.
Yeah, so it was a bummer. So really look into other options that are maybe they don't look as good, maybe they're not as fast, but they at least start up and run really easily.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's a local shop near me that sells bikes, and they have a 2019 Ninja 400. I know you guys recommend that a lot for a starter bike.
That's a great choice.
Great bike.
Yeah, I may just go with that. But like Yammie said, it's $500. It's almost free. So if it doesn't work out and I don't want it anymore, I could just scrap it.
It's $500. I mean, you could give it a shot. But I mean, honestly, the 400 is faster than the 500 because the 500 is so old. That 400 pulls harder than the new 500. So, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll open up the lines. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks for calling, man.
That is the crazy thing about some of those Kawasaki's is they just set it and forget it. And they're like, we're not even going to update it. It's just going to run for 30 years, and it's going to be the exact same bike.
Honda will still sell you what they call a 2020 XR650L. It's sitting there on the showroom floor. It hasn't been updated since '89, I think. Motorbike Mike, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, guys. It's great to chime in. I've been watching you guys for a long time now. I have a question in regards to now that you guys are hiring more people and eventually Corona scares got to go away eventually. Do you guys see more like movie-esque, higher production value, potentially like road trippy kind of videos in the future, maybe like a year down the road, or?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it's not really a challenge about budget at this point when it comes to the kind of road trippy or higher production stuff. What it comes down to is it just doesn't really elicit the same kind of viewership as stuff that's just simpler to make. And so I've made a conscious effort to always kind of gear the content to be, as high impact as possible for as budget friendly as possible, let's say. So that's why you'll still see every week we still make list videos because they're really valuable, they're really fun, and they are pretty easy to produce. But I don't want to just make lists for the rest of my life. So, we did the Big Bend trip, for example, and that was a ton of fun. And it's enriching in different ways, right? Like that was Spite's first off-road foray, and it was just a fun trip to do. And it's, to be honest, just like a good team building activity for Yammie Noob as well. So it's kind of one of those things where like I don't think it's ever going to be like ROI positive to do like a big road trip. Like I was talking to Spite yesterday about like, oh, let's go out to Moab and do like a big adventure trip out there. But it's just because I just want to do it. It's not just because like I don't think it'll get any views really. Yeah, Spite, if you want to chime in on something about that.
Yeah, I mean I loved doing the Big Bend thing. It was really fun. It was different, which is why it was so enjoyable. Because we do our shakedown comparisons all the time. We do our install stuff all the time. So it really is fulfilling for me creatively to go out and do something different in a different place. So I love it. Yeah. But again, we do need to balance what people watch and what they don't.
Yeah.
Because those Big Bend videos, straight down in the crapper.
Yep. About like 20,000 views on something we probably spent between filming, production, editing, and post and all that, probably like at least 30 hours all between that. So yeah, it's a little difficult to justify, but I don't know if that answers your question.
All right. Well, it makes sense. I guess I understand when something becomes more of a streamlined production, that you have to look at what's like palatable for the current viewership. And I guess some channels kind of focus on, or I think Itchy Boots, all she does is like big long trips, and that's her niche. And now, would you guys say you might have inadvertently pigeonhole yourself into a typical video type? Because I guess as viewers, we kind of expect it's noon, time to watch Yammie and Noob, and expect a certain type of video.
In a way, I think in 2019, the content I was making was very, it was a lot more lists and just a couple vlogs here and there. Whereas now, because I rented out this production studio, I've got the whole space here, the giveaway stuff has been expanding a lot. The content has evolved a lot, and our proficiency with making things has also evolved as well. You go back 4 months and you see the stuff that Spite and I was doing in Guantanamo Bay, horrible color correction, running 30 frames per second, no understanding of shutter speed, no understanding of f-stop. I think naturally we've evolved the production of it, but it's just one of those things where I'm very driven by not being bored. I don't ever want to be bored, and I like doing new things. So although people have come to expect a certain type of content from us, and perhaps that has pigeonholed us a little bit, we certainly keep making lists, and I don't think I'll ever stop making lists because people keep watching them. But the giveaway stuff and riding different bikes and just doing different vlogs has definitely allowed us to open up and do different stuff, which I feel like now we've got pretty much all bases covered. I think we're doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, we've got the Cruiser in there. The only thing we can't really tap into is competition off-road and ADV.
Yeah. Which I wish I could figure that out, but I've tried and I can't.
Yep.
Nice. I really appreciate you guys' time, and I love watching your videos. It's kind of a daily thing.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
We're trying to make one every single day, and now we got a good process to make that happen without everyone feeling like they're going to rip their hair out, or in my case, the lack thereof.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, man. Yeah, with me in the list, it's always an ebb and flow. It's a couple weeks I'm one day I'll get away from the list, and the other weeks I'm I fully embrace the list, and it is what it is, and you just work within the parameters of the style, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it's been with me lately, but I've been getting just into the lists.
I think you've hit a stride, really. The Cruiser one today was great.
Yeah. It's just my writing I think I've pinned it.
German guy, how's it going? Welcome to the Yamcast.
Hey guys, so I just got a quick question. I don't know if you saw it. I recently crashed with my Ninja.
Ooh, uh-oh. You okay?
Yeah, totally. It was a month ago or something. And now I want to wrap it this 80s style, 90s style. I've posted it in the Yamcast thread. And so the green and the white on the sides. The Ninja is black there. And I don't know if I should let it be painted green and white, or if I just wrap it. What would you say? What is better?
So I would say go with a vinyl wrap. I recently did that to my race bike, and it's a lot more flexible than painting it, because if you screw up, you just unstick it and try again. And using a heat gun, you can get really, really good results, actually. And if you take your time, you could probably make it look really, really good.
Okay. Yeah, that's all, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, and put up a photo if you ever get around to doing it, because that looks really nice. I like it's kind of like retro, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, and it turned out better than I thought, the Photoshop thing. So, I'll definitely do it in the next 2 weeks or something.
Sweet. Let's see it, man. I'm stoked.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yep. Later. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a good egg,
I forget which bike that was on. I think it was the old Z900.
The ZX9.
ZX9,
It looks like the ZX9, yeah. What's funny about Kawai's new lineup is everything except for the ZX10, the ZX6 and the Ninja 400 have almost the same front nowadays. So I couldn't tell if that was a 400 or a 636. What's going on? You are on the Yamcast.
How you guys doing?
Good. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a question. I think it's more MotoGP related because I've been watching.
Yes.
Your evolution.
I'm so excited.
My question is: do you think Vinales is mentally compromised?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's so tough to say right now because the Yamahas have had so many problems. They're seeing so many technical issues. And I think if he was mentally compromised, then whatever God is, angry at him just keeps poking at him, because we just saw in the last race, he had that massive front brake failure, had to jump off the bike, had that other incident on track as well. And so maybe he's at the point where he's like jumping on his machine, he's like, is this piece of shit gonna work? You know what I mean? He's back to being like us mere mortals jumping on the bike after some Craigslist shit bike or something, He's just like, man, is this piece of shit gonna run tonight? Which you see a lot at like club racing, but it's just kind of crazy to see it at the GP level where Yamaha's already pretty much gone through all their engines. So I think he definitely, if he isn't mentally compromised, he definitely probably is struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been crazy how MotoGP's been handling this as well too. I'm sure you have a subscription to, for the season.
Yes.
And the kind of texts and alerts that you get, like, about like, the hype behind number 46 saying that, like, is he going to quit? Is he thinking about retirement? I mean, I think that they're really doing some really cool things with what's kind of like this intense thing that's happened 2 weeks ago. And I think a lot of people are starting to watch more than ever because of the crashes.
And that's a bit of a bummer because like I think the racing right now is so amazing. Everyone's so close and it's so competitive. You literally have no clue who is going to win because everybody's within half a second of each other, and it makes for an amazing show.
I agree 100%. I think number 93 actually not being in this year is actually proving to make it more entertaining for all of us.
100% agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to tell you guys are doing a great job. If you guys ever come out to Los Angeles, I'd love to host you guys out here and hang out and ride with me out here. And keep up the awesome work, guys. I love your Discord. I just joined, and I'm just trying to tell all my friends out here in LA to jump on board with me.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that.
I love your guys. I love your guys' content, and I've seen you evolve, and it's pretty cool. Now that you're shooting more, with DSLRs and. It's really cool to watch. I mean, to the point where I started out as like a casual viewer, and then now full on supporting you guys. And I just love everything you guys are doing. Keep up the great work, guys.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Right on, guys. Have a great day.
All right, later. That was like the polar opposite of like the typical YouTube comment. You know? like the small brain just like, fuck you suck. It was like a well thought out, kind compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so nice.
Heartwarming.
So heartwarming. Maybe they do actually like a spite. Maybe they do. Hey, Josh.
Hey.
You heading out?
Heading out.
All right, man. Done. You want to make an appearance in the Yamcast?
Am I in frame?
I think so.
There you go. Now you are.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, guess. What an honor.
Yeah. You got some good photos?
Some excellent photos.
Sweet, man. Yeah. I'm excited to see it.
Stop thinking about everything tomorrow.
All right. Later, man.
See you guys.
Sounds good. Catch you later. I think it's interesting because I think it was at lap 5 when he missed that one turn and like he was off. He had his hand off the handlebar and he was.
Oh, he was already saying he's having problems. Yeah.
At like lap 5, 2 or 3. 3, he was. I watched the press conference. Like from lap 3, it was bad.
Yeah.
And then he went all the way into it was.
You gotta love these guys though. He's like, yeah, my brakes were feeling like shit, so I just fucking sent it to the front straight at 300 k's an hour. I'm like, I would have pitted in immediately.
Yep.
But that's why I'm not a GP rider. And they are. Yep.
It was very interesting to watch it after seeing all of the like background.
Yeah.
And then I sat down and watched the race because I just got my subscription in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this next weekend they're skipping, and then next week is going to be Misano, which is going to be a really good race, I think.
Sweet. I'm definitely going to try and catch that one live.
Oh, it's just so nice when people notice that we're putting in the work and trying to make things better, professionalizing the brand.
Yep. I mean, it's been a big push.
Yeah.
So
again, compared to remember when you came on board? And
yep. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. It's just this Wild West out here.
You're like, this is just some dude with a garage and a couple bikes. All right. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in place. But I remember telling you, I was like, I have a vision for what this is going to look like in about a year. And I feel like I was pretty close.
Yeah, we're basically there.
Yeah, I feel like I was pretty close with it. I remember sitting down in your first couple of days of training, and I was like, I think this is going to look like this in about a year. There's going to be a garage and like 15 bikes in it. We're all giving it away. We're pretty much there.
Yeah.
Moto fan, we were worried you weren't going to call in.
Yeah, well, it turns out that doing a clutch change-out doesn't take as long as I thought it did.
Right. What can we do for you this week?
So I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to address something that I've been meaning to say for a long time. And
Okay.
I said it before, but just wanted to reiterate. Dude, I don't know how much I can put this into words, but I am really, really proud of where you've come from.
Thank you. I didn't you put a fork in the road. I didn't know where you were going to go with that one. I was really worried for a sec.
I'm not that nasty. I'll leave that up to Nick. Well, anyway, I don't know. I've been subscribed to your channel since, I don't know, early 2016.
Wow.
Way back.
The dark days.
That was probably a year and change before you busted through 100,000. So it's like, I've been watching you a long time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for the people that are going to, watch this after the fact, like, they know you as the guy that creates funny lists that has, a whole report on him in Jalopnik that was made like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
Did you know that's on there?
I think so. Was it Jalopnik or Revzilla? Because I know Revzilla did an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting kind of seeing how far you've come. And it's been an interesting ride because, yeah, there was a period of time where, things weren't exactly as good as they could be. And, PR blunders aside and everything else, it's just like, I kind of, at least at a minimum, kept you on the back burner. I'm just like, you know what? Sure, the dude's messed up in a bad way, but it's just like, he's human. That's going to happen. And, just seeing you crawl back from that little by little and just showing all these good things about you, positivity, your complete change of focus from, well, I don't want to say that, well, no, you weren't a bad person. You weren't a bad, rider back then. It's just, your perspective wasn't, I guess, complete, if that makes sense.
Oh, and yeah, it was.
And now seeing you, you're so much more of a well-rounded, educated, and really knowledgeable person. And it's been a really good time just watching you grow and watching you, succeed, because, success is the best revenge.
Yeah, I there's a couple things I wanted to say about that. First of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's really nice getting these kind of messages, and I know you've been a fan for a long time, and it was so cool hanging out with you at Road Atlanta and doing all that. So first of all, thank you. Second of all, yeah, in about middle of 2018, I took this really big trip out to all these different national parks, completely by myself, and I probably spent about 20 days not speaking to anyone else really, and I just had a huge reset, and I thought a lot about what I was doing and what was going on and all that. And to your thing about how it's much more positive now, I realized that the message I was putting out in the world wasn't as positive and wasn't as good as it could be, and I just made a really concerted effort to try to improve that and change that and always make stuff that was valuable and positive and good. And a lot of the old stuff I can't watch anymore because I just cringe at it because I don't really recognize the guy on camera anymore. And to your point as well, it's another big effort of mine was to become a well-rounded, student of motorcycling, because there's so much to learn about it. There's so many disciplines to learn. There's so many interesting things about it. There's so much history. There's so much to it. And I have a really, really deep passion for it. And I think maybe back then people couldn't see that, but hopefully they see it now that, I will probably die riding a motorcycle or probably get close to my grave riding a bike. I don't ever want to not be on two wheels. It is one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me in my life. So, yeah, and I just want to share that with people, honestly. That's my mission. I just want to get more people stoked on bikes.
And, dude, I couldn't be happy for you because of it. And, Spite, just not to leave you out, I'm going to say out of everything that's been on this channel, you are, by and large, the best addition I've ever seen, aside from Papa Yam himself.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway, I won't keep up you guys. Go ahead, have fun with the contest this week. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Moto fan. See you later, man.
All right, take care, y'all.
It's an emotional podcast this week
Yep.
for episode 20.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is for I think a lot of folks at home who don't know, for the few people who are going to make it to this far in the podcast, I think you are a longer fan of the channel than even Moto fan was. I mean, I think you have been there since damn near like 2,000 subs or something. Yeah, like you've been kind of keeping up and yeah.
It's really weird to be on this side of the camera now. Every now and again, I still catch it. It's like, I see on my phone a Yammie Noob video goes out, and I click on it, and I hear my own voice. And I'm like, that's really weird. Okay.
Yeah. No, but to what MotoFan was saying too, I mean, it's been great having you on, man. Like it's been, I think really, it's just expanded everything so much more, and it's just nicer doing something with someone else. I can't imagine if it was just one dude in here, in this big shop, filming videos by himself.
I mean, this has been the most fun I've had in my life, so I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm really glad I can be a part of it.
It works out. With that, let's move her to our contest.
Nope, we got to sign out for the audio-only people.
Son of a bitch. If you want to check out the contest, check out the video on YouTube. This is the end of the audio portion of the podcast. Be sure to go on the YouTube channel and you can check it out, and go to yammynoob.com and become a member. And you too can send me wonderful, heartwarming messages that make me feel so good. This is the theme of this week's episode. So go and check that out, and we are now going to start the contest.
So we have a unique contest this week. And it is, we asked all of our Discord boys to basically write a Yammie Noob list style entry for the greatest motorcycles of all time. And we have 8 entries and 2 honorable mentions because they're close but not quite. They had fun with it, and I'd like to talk about it, although they weren't the full-on listy style. So before we get into it, how do we want to judge these? I feel like we want to do funniness, obviously.
Yes,
because
funniness.
It's Yammie Noob style. We want to do our. Do we want to see rate them on like?
I think there's like a je ne sais quoi quality about them. Is it enlightening? Is it uplifting? Is it, you know what I mean? Like,
does it have the feel?
Is it poetry in motion? Like that type of thing. Yeah.
So I feel like this one is general funniness, that just gut feeling.
Yeah.
And then do we want to do it on just general Yammie Noob quality, or?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be out of 30.
You know what? We'll do like we'll read them, and then we'll kind of be like, what was our gut impression? Do we like it? Then we'll kind of think about them all at the end and be like, what was our favorite?
Sure.
I mean?
We'll freewheel it a little bit this time.
Yeah.
So our first entry this week comes to us from Tayan Osera.
Mm-hmm.
Why the RD350?
So wait. Are you going to read these, or am I reading these?
I think we would trade them off.
Trade them off? All right. Do you want to take this one
I'll
first?
start with this one. Why the RD350 LC? Why PVS? The entire alphabet soup here. What's more humbling than being overtaken by a 350cc naked while on a 900cc sports bike? That was the experience of riders back in the 80s. This Pocket Rocket's engine was a little box full of murder hornets. Open it up and you're in for a surprise. The RD's 350cc 2-stroke Stinger had 59 horsepower and 29.65 foot-pounds of torque.
Round up your torque figures.
That's
you went to the 100th place here of torque.
That's a little bit silly. We're going to call it 30 foot-pounds of torque. That may not sound like a lot by modern standards, but this was in the 80s. But the GPZ 900R makes 115 horsepower, I hear you scream from behind your screens. Yes, that is true. That behemoth was a bull on a bicycle weighing the colossal 566 pounds wet.
That is Busa territory.
I did not realize the GPZ 900R was that heavy.
Dude, bikes back then were so heavy.
It was made out of depleted uranium.
Yeah.
While the RD weighs in at a measly 328 pounds wet.
Nice.
This stonking 238.1 pound difference is like whacking a Great Dane pal Scooby-Doo kitted out head to toe in full gear on the back. Wait, hold on.
I don't think you read that right.
Nope.
You started putting in words in there.
This stonking 238 pound weight difference is like whacking your Great Dane pal Scooby-Doo kitted out head to toe in gear on the back. That is what that sentence says, correct?
It's like whacking your Great Dane pal Scooby-Doo kitted out head to toe. I think he's saying that it's like if you put like a huge Great Dane full gear on the back of the bike.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. This bike came with a fully faired option known as the RD350RF that dropped the quarter-mile time from 13.5 to 12.4.
That is stupid fast for a 350.
God, that really is quick. This little bike punches way above its class even nowadays, especially when people like Tuono in York pumping out 85 wheel horsepower from it.
That is absolutely nasty. 85 wheel horsepower of a 350 two-stroke? Damn.
What, they're running it on like 110 octane?
That's insane. So, fun fact about the RD350, my dad had one back in the day in Brazil.
Really?
And he nearly fucking killed himself with it. And then he scared himself off bikes forever.
Probably
I don't learn that easily.
Probably because it has 60 horsepower and weighs 328 pounds.
He picked it up as his first bike. Yeah.
Okay, so general feel about this. This feels
pretty Yammie Noob listy.
Very Yammie Noob.
I like the sort of shout out to the comments type of thing, right? I hear you scream behind your screens, right? I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a gut feel like a 7.
7, yeah. I feel like it's pretty middle of the road, above average.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, funniness.
A 5.
A 5. And then, do we want to add that third just we had Yammie Noob gut feel.
The Yammie factor.
Yammie factor.
How about a 6?
A 6. I'm just gonna get it right.
18.
There we go.
That econ degree.
There's a reason
Put it in
why.
action.
There's a reason why I don't do math around here. I edit videos and make memes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is an 18 from Tyan Oscara. And I figure the way that we do this is the person who has the highest number pick the greatest bike of all time.
Yes, I like that.
So German A2 Boy has an entry for us, and this is all you.
All right. Back in the 90s, 600cc sport bikes started to come up. All of the big four built them. Then in 2002, Kawasaki figured building 600s was for suckers and gave the new ZX6R a bump, 636cc. In 600 culture, this was considered a dick move. With those extra 37cc, Cowie now had a motorcycle that was just a tiny bit more powerful and torquey than the competition. The motorcycle underwent several updates, and at last we arrive at the 2005 ZX636C, the greatest motorcycle of all time. At a wet weight of 192 kg, 423 pounds in freedom units, 70.5 newton meters or 52 foot-pounds of torque, and 130 horsepower, guarantees that you can brag to all the other 600 boys about the dank-nooner you pulled last night. Its looks are stunning too. Round yet aggressive styling, integrated front turn signals, and an undertail exhaust make this one of the most beautiful bikes ever. But all that is not what makes this bike so great. It is a single fact that makes all ninjas great. It's a bike that makes small children want to ride bikes. It is a brethren lead new young... What?
It and its brethren...
okay. It and its brethren lead new young squids to the art of motorcycling, and that, I think, is beautiful. 636 is a great bike. The 05 636, that's a really solid machine.
Apparently 05 was a very good year because that was the year the K5 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, gut feeling.
I'm feeling like a 9.
Yeah?
That flowed really well.
Yeah. It didn't have that... We didn't really, like, stumble so hard on that, like that Great Dane thing.
It was also me reading, too.
Yeah, can you tell that he's done it a lot more? Funniness.
I'd say keep it another 5. Yeah.
Another 5.
Yeah.
Yammie Noob factor.
What do you think?
I like the in 600 culture that was considered a dick move.
Yeah.
That's a little reference right there.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it feels the suckers thing. It feels Yammie Noobie.
Yeah,
I would
sort
say
of.
Another 6.
Yeah, let's do a 6 there.
Yeah.
So that gives us a score of 20.
On to our next one from Venom 2023.
Powerful boy.
Yes, slightly less powerful motorcycle. So the next bike on our list today is actually the Honda CB500F. It's basically the CBR 500R that got manscaped so you can see the sexy engine. The CB 500F is powered by a 471cc parallel twin, and yes, it doesn't sound as mean as an RSV4 or have that crossplane sound of an MT10, but it'll do. The CB 500F comes with full LEDs, a slipper clutch, an LCD dash, and preload adjustability for the front and rear with some nice blue fork caps. Now I would bore you with the rest of the specs, but that isn't what makes the bike the best. The reason I chose this bike is how it feels when you ride. It has plenty of power for the highway, and it has beautiful bark that makes you feel like you're going over 80. Interesting. Makes you feel like you're going over 80 when you're only going 80 miles an hour. It feels so well built, sitting at the cockpit is just pleasing. The suspension handles bumps super well, and it isn't so saggy that you tear up a corner like... okay. The suspension handles bumps super well, and it isn't too saggy when you're tearing up a corner like you were Rossi himself. It also looks pretty mean with this Street Fighter aesthetics. All this is why it made number ? On our list of best bikes.
I like that. That felt nice, I think.
It had some good flow to it.
Yeah.
This one, when it feels like you're going over 80 when you're only doing 80, that was a little weird.
Yeah. I think my gut feel on this is 5.
Yeah. Kind of middle of the road.
Yes.
Funniness.
I didn't really laugh too much.
Yeah, I feel like it was just kind of facts.
Yeah, I think a 4.
A 4. Yammie Noob factor.
I'm feeling a 4 on this, and that's because I feel like it was just a little bit rote, you know?
Yeah.
It could have been a little bit more spicy.
Kind of like back of the list, the last, last entry.
It's the last half of the list. No one's watching anymore. You can, just kind of sunset it out. So that gives us a 13.
Okay, next one comes to us from Caveman, who's a V-Rod boy who did not write about the V-Rod.
Yeah, he's also one of our habitual Meme City posters. He is always there. That's where I always see him. That's an easy one. It's the Aprilia Tuono 1100 factory. Why the Tuono? You want even Ducatistas to turn green with envy? Tuono. You like horsepower and torque? 175/89 Tuono. You don't want to be folded up like origami on a sport bike? Tuono. You want to humble the cruiser boy revving his twin? Rev back with the V4 that'll leave him in awe. Tuono, speaking of sound, Tuono is Italian for thunder. Tuono, are you recovering squid? Ride it like a unicycle all the way through 6 gar. Tuono, need a reason to look back and admire pure sex after dismounting? Tuono, scooter boy looking to upgrade? Quick shifter and suite of electronic nannies? Tuono, don't like removing vinyl siding to change your oil? Tuono, want to see Spite boygasm on a V4 cold start? Tuono.
Very good. I like that.
That was good. Yeah. That was great because I felt like I could just punch through it and read it. That was awesome.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Was absolute class. That's going to be hard to top. That was great. That was very funny. And it's true. I mean, it's hard to argue the Tuono isn't the best fucking bike.
Yup.
It's a really good bike.
It's a very good bike.
Gut feel, I'm feeling a 10. That was great.
Oh, yeah. No, that was great.
That was great.
Funniness is also very high up there.
Yeah, gotta be a 9, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yammie Noob factor.
Man, that's gotta be a 9 too. That felt like I felt like I wrote that, honestly.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
So that is a 28.
That was a solid entry.
That is damn near perfect. Caveman, well done. Other people up here gotta fucking bring the heat if they want to beat that.
Yup. Next one comes to us from Evan SFAL. The only bike on our list of the best bikes of all time is the spicy 4-banger everyone uncles know and mistakes it for the 1100cc older brother. It's the 1983 Magna V45 750cc muscle bike. Finally, the Magna boys feel touched. This beast boasts 79 horsepower from the...
79 horsepower? Why the fuck do people like Magna so much? I'm sorry, I have to ask. Okay, continue.
I mean, it was 1983, so that would be
true.
pretty quick.
No, that's true. Yeah, I forgot.
This beast boasts 79 horsepower from the abandoned factories from which it was born. With a blistering 12.2 second quarter mile 37 years ago, there's absolutely nothing holding you back on this beast except the rust and ethanol. The V45 Magna comes tromping in at 500 pounds dry, so probably 560 wet on a cruiser. Which is tons lighter than all the Harleys that you'll be outrunning on the back roads. Rear drum brake combined with the dual discs up front is sure to slow you down before you splatter the neighbor's kid shooing you down your driveway attempting insurance fraud. That's got to be a reference to that last Drew Peacock's call the other day.
Yes, yeah, that was good. Attempting insurance
fraud. This bike will force your girlfriend to make you sleep on the couch for hitting triple digits every time you go for an evening cruise on this classic squid missile. Speed vibrations, high maintenance costs, literally no aftermarket, and difficulty finding new parts are all oversights when you're having your arms ripped off at 10,000 RPM banging through the 6-speed transmission.
Well done. That was good.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah. I'm feeling a 9 for that gut feel. That was awesome. Funniness is pretty good. I would give it a 7, I think.
Agreed.
It's pretty funny.
Yammie Noob factor.
Felt like a Yammie Noob list.
7?
I think a 7, yeah.
That's a solid entry.
Yeah.
Not quite enough to dethrone Caveman and his Tuono there, though.
Quite good, yeah. Boygasm is a new word. Oh, my God.
We're going to be
a
using
real
that.
treasure. A real treasure you've given me. Greetings, my fellow squids. Let Uncle Zek drop some cold hard facts on you about what the best bike in history is. You like tech? You like comfort? You like style? Well, never fear, my two-wheeled brethren. I have the perfect answer for you. It is the iconic Harley-Davidson CVO Streak Light. Just kidding. When you revolutionize the motorcycle market and immediately get imitated by the likes of Honda, Indian, Suzuki, and Yamaha, then you've changed the landscape. That's what the Street Glide has done. Sure, you speedy boys may think that you can ride forever on that leader bike, but your lower back begs to differ. On that sexy Street Glide, there's no limit to the amount of miles you can put down. As in all aspects of life, age and maturity brings wisdom. Dad bike? Nah, my dudes. That's a real bike right there. Full batwing front fairing, liquid/air-cooled engine pumping out 105 horsepower and 125 foot-pounds of torque that makes you giggle like a kid every time you crank the throttle. A paint job that is a pure work of art and all the creature comforts that you could ask for. Don't let 886 pounds of driving weight scare you. Wow. That's
heavy.
A car. You are securely planted on the road, riding through those twisties effortlessly, looking like the badass you are. Sure, it's going to cost you, but everything great in life is worth working for. Gut feel, I'm feeling, I think a 7 as well for this one, honestly.
Funniness, this was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
6?
Let's give it a 6, yeah. Definitely give it a 6.
Yammie Noob factor.
I think a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gives us a 11, 7, 18.
Yep. Already there. Yeah, I feel like...
And also for you guys at home, in case you don't know, we're actually turning this into an actual Yammie Noob video, so...
Yeah, we're going to set it up and orient it and list it out. It's going to be a good one. And powered by you guys.
Yeah.
Weasel gives us entry number 8 here, RC211V. Here we go.
I feel like you should have read the last one and I should have read this one.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Here we go. I don't know why people are arguing. The best motorcycle of all time is the Honda RC211V. What has more horsepower than a V4, has smaller footprint than an inline 6, was ridden in 2 world championships by our Lord and Savior Valentino Rossi? A V5. 990 cc's, 3 world championships, and transversely mounted. The testicular fortitude required to ride this beast was a task for Valentino Rossi and Nicky Hayden, who both rode it to MotoGP championships. And were among the lucky few who had the pleasure of riding the bike with 240 brake horsepower, 149 kilograms wet, and 48 race wins. Need I also mention that it was driven by VR46? Here we go again. Another Valentino Rossi. So V, and it fits between 4 and 6. 5, coincidence? I think not. Rossi praise be. If it's good enough for Valentino Rossi and Nicky Hayden to win world championships, it's good enough to be given the title of the best motorcycle ever produced.
This was good. I think gut feel, I'm feeling a 7 also for this one.
Okay. Funniness?
I think it was a little bit funny, so let's say a 6. I like that.
Okay. Yammie Noob factor?
I think a 7 for this one. I feel like the kind of call out to Rossi very often, all that.
I also liked how we were getting kind of the Illuminati read between the lines here.
Yeah. So that's a 20.
20, which means we do have a tie, and we'll have to do a runoff here between German A2 Boy and that one. We'll have to figure out who won there. And then this one is another good one for you to read. This is MotoFan's entry for this week.
This is orange unobtainium in street bike form, so it's something special to throw a leg over one. It's a complex topography of soft curves, hard angles, and passion. I'm getting a little erect over here. If robots were given souls, this is what they'd use for porn. Then there's KTM's obsession, a hard-edged, hardcore monomania of fast to match the RC8R's looks. Bringing us to the RC8R's structural and spiritual heart, an 1195cc V-twin engine. It's a snorting, fire-breathing demon giving the RC8R a raw, mechanical, visceral feel. It certainly doesn't coddle your imprecise humanity. Around town, the RC8R feels like a snarling, caged animal, but uncorked, the RC8R reveals itself to be absolutely feral, yet insolvently easy to ride. Insolently?
Insolently.
Is that a word?
Yeah, but I don't think it means what he thinks it means.
Okay. I'm going to adjust it. But uncorked, the RC8R reveals itself to be absolutely feral, yet easy to ride. The engine blitzes from 6,000 RPM to redline in an eye blink. There's a raw mechanical purity here, something that makes Ducatis feel like an Italian Honda. Don't confuse it with unrefined, because free from traffic, the RC8R is utterly sublime. The throttle becomes a precise instrument. Formerly harsh, the suspension holds the road in a vicious, lovingly clawed embrace. Abrupt, one-finger brakes become surgeons' scalpels, excising speed with fadeless delicacy. The handling is elegantly rapid and planted with a 600cc sport bike quick tip-in, making the RC8R the world's angriest ballet dancer. Abrupt and elegant, comfortable and hard-edged, the KTM RC8R is a passionate contradiction, until you realize it is designed with the sublime sport bike purity that slices through all the low-end faults. The RC8R is the elegance of a sonnet conducted as a blood sport, an ode to your next track day. Sweet Jesus. That was, like, man.
That was a journey.
Yeah, that was quite a saga. I can sense the passion from MotoFan over this motorcycle.
Yup. Gut feel.
It's like, so it's written well, right?
I
so
can see what he's going for.
It feels almost like it works better for the written word to just read and not to be spoken, right? Which I think some people get mixed up on, where it's like, just because something's written really well, like in a magazine, doesn't mean that it's said really well, you know?
Yes.
So I think I'm feeling a 6 for this one.
Funniness.
It wasn't funny, right? It was it wasn't supposed to be funny.
It was supposed to be artful.
It was supposed to be artful. So maybe we can make a concession to this, because I don't think he was trying to be funny. So we'll maybe make a concession to say it was funniness.
So how do we rate on what he tried to achieve?
Oh, but then the category is funniness.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because that is an underpinning to all of the lists.
Yeah.
The line about the savage blood sport.
Yeah. Pretty good. Well, let's give it a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
Okay, Yammie Noob factor. Again, I can see what he was trying to do, and we've definitely had these kind of just artful tangents.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I think a 6 is the right number here, because we have said stuff like this before, though. I've read scripts like
it's
this
like
before.
somewhere between a 6 and a 7.
Yeah. Well, let's give it a 7.
A 7, which makes it a 17. Okay, so now we've got the bulk of the list done, and we've got our pair of honorable mentions here, which this one is an ode by Flip Moto here.
So he wrote a poem, huh?
Yep. And it's in 2 parts. So, do you want part 1 or part 2?
I will take part 1.
Okay.
O tempestuous triple, thou breath of street being, thou from whose unseen presence the road is dead, are driven like steeds from those are yeeting. Silver and black and gold and hectic red, gooch juice stricken multitudes they lust, who dankest noon is pulled once out of bed. The winged parts where they slice and flow, each like bird after its prey, until the tight hairpin of the road shall slow. Her red line o'er the needle never drop, driving sweet crackles to feed in crisp air, with toothy grins at every glorious pop. O uproarious triple which marvel everywhere, O uproarious triple which marvel everywhere, road destroyer and soul preserver here or there.
All right. Part the second. For those who ride, feel the triple commotion. Crack the throttle full open until tears are shed. Flee the dreads on thou asphalt. Ocean angels of speed and grip. They are spread on black surface of rubber does surge. Thou roaring triple high revs when fed. Of some fierce mission enlightened come verge of the horizon of to the triumph, squads of young squids. Thou surge, oh, the cray year, to which this closing ode will be the home of the vast mayhem. Yet calmed and content as long as it's being rode. Oh, sweet triple, from whose solid on luck, when the hell are we gonna? Okay.
A little artful there at the end. All right, we have another honorable mention, is that right?
Yes, from Mr. Negative on the CBX.
Right. Okay.
I'll let you handle this one after my fucking calamity that last time.
This is written, I think, almost in like a song format, right?
Yeah, this is ripping off Lonely Island.
Okay. So CBX. Why? Because it is a CBX. But I digress and wrote to a classic YouTube song that will explain fully. Soichiro dared to dream, the gods heard the scream, a gleaming six not meant for hicks, the world heard a roar coming out of the door, springtime thaw, first one I saw, bright night stars, long drag bars, I jizzed in my pants. Down in the street, on my feet, what a scream, I jizzed in my pants. Inline six, lighten the wicks, I jizzed in my pants. 6 into 1, I jizzed in my pants. CBX, I just in my pants. I like that, yeah. I like how you got the syllables correct from the song, yeah.
Yep.
Because I think the original song is like lock eyes from across the room, something. Yeah, I don't remember the rest of it, but yeah, that was great. It's just so fun to see everyone getting so creative on these. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So these were honorable mentions because we can't really form them into like the list video.
Yeah.
But they are quite good. They're very fun.
Agreed, and that's why I wanted to read them.
Yeah.
Not just to humiliate myself on stream, because I can't read fucking poetry.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Okay, so we did have a runoff that we had to deal with here because we have a 20 from Weasel. And we have actually we have 2 runoffs, and a 20 from German A2
So
Boy.
who's our number one?
Our number one is Caveman. The Tuono 1100 Factory is officially the greatest bike of all time. Next up, we have a 23 from Evan SFAL, and we have a 20. Yeah, so 23.
So 23 second place.
Second place. We'll put that in yellow. It's just going to get fucking neon up in here.
So that's...
Then we have a pair of 20s. Okay. Weasel, who wrote about the RC211V. And German A2 Boy, who wrote about the 636. The 05 636, no less. Now...
I think German Boys was better than the other one.
Agreed.
Yeah. That'll be number 3.
Yes. And then we have another runoff at 18 with Tayan Osera
for the
RD350 and Zek about the Street Glide, CVO Street Glide.
I feel like they were both pretty equal, honestly. Zek's was funny, so was the other guys. Tayan's... This is tough. This one's tough because I feel like they're honestly both quite equal.
Yes.
Man, what are you thinking?
I think that in terms of like just the way that I would write a list, that this feels more like when I'm closing down. Yeah. And this feels, I like the Murder Hornets reference here. I like the call out to the audience here. Mm-hmm. I think this is our number 5.
Agreed. I think that's true. Yeah.
And then we have MotoFan at 17, and I believe we have one that's a little bit lower, Venom at 13. So MotoFan is number 7.
And Venom is
number 8. So we have the 8 best motorcycles of all time.
Sweet.
That concludes our contest for this week.
That is the contest for this week. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Hope you had some fun. This video for this list will probably come out, I think, next week.
Before this podcast.
Oh, before the podcast.
Yeah, this comes out at 11:30. Podcast goes live at...
we're doing it same day, right?
Yeah.
So the list will come out at 11:30, and then this will the Yamcast comes out at 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So this will come out next week, and you guys will be in for a little treat. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.